Well, hello, guys, and welcome to another exciting edition of Coffee with Steven. This particular week, the blog is all about the new assault weapons regulations. This has been an unmitigated disaster for the California Department of Justice. As you may remember, back last year, the legislature passed SB 880. Effectively, for those of you who have AR-15s, or for that matter, any semi-automatic firearm that has a detachable magazine, they essentially said that the presence of a bullet button, something that would keep the magazine in place unless it was removed with a tool, would no longer be sufficient to stay outside of a classification of an assault weapon. Well, in order to kind of work their way around what would be considered a taking, they ended up saying that if you owned the rifle prior to January 1, you could register your weapon as an assault rifle. And that's it. That's where the language ended. The California Department of Justice, they wanted to make it more onerous. So they created, and they're not allowed to do this, but they created an entire new category of assault weapons. We'll call them bullet button assault weapons. Essentially, what they said was you can keep it in the exact same configuration that you've currently got. Now, this doesn't really make any sense because the entire purpose of the bullet button was to keep it from being an assault rifle. Now that it is designated as an assault rifle, there should be no purpose for keeping that bullet button on in any event. They created their regulations. They submitted their regulations. They did it in a way so that there couldn't be any public comment on it. They ended up having to rescind those regulations. They then did it again. This time, the Office of Administrative Regulations actually kicked them out. They said, no, we're not going to accept these. So they did it a third time. Well, this time, they found a bureaucrat in the Office of Administrative Regulations that was more amenable to their position. So this time, they approved them, the same exact ones. Now, there's all sorts of constitutional issues that, this thing brings up. There are lawsuits that are both pending as well as in progress. So this is still by no means a settled situation. That notwithstanding, if you want to register your AR-15, you can now do so. I don't recommend that you do, okay? It's fraught, like I said, with certain constitutional issues. It also potentially can implicate you in certain constitutional issues, chief among them your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. The way that the website's set up is very, very problematic. In any event, I encourage you to read the blog. It articulates this in a little bit more detail and hopefully gives you a better understanding of what's actually taken place. As always, if you want to contact me, feel free to drop me an email at steven@artemishq.com. And as always, train constantly, train consistently, and train with purpose. And folks, stay vigilant out there. Right now, there are a lot of forces that are working very tirelessly to essentially impose their way of life upon you. Tyranny must not be given any quarter. We must always be eternally vigilant. Thank you for watching the video blog. Please read the blog. And again, until next week when we have coffee again, stay safe.